And now it's time for the final evaluation. You can render your evaluation as a written document, presentation, audio or video recording, or another suitable method approved by your tutor. This should include feedback from the audience or client gathered through a method of primary research. The following structure can be used to help you create your final evaluation. You may have already discussed some of these elements in your blog or diary, so you can summarize these. Try to include images or screenshots that show what you were talking about. Well, I'm going to do it video based because video based is quicker for me. What was the context of the project? Client, target audience, outcomes, chosen method of delivery, etc. Well, to do that, we've got to go all the way back to beef. Beef. Yeah, we got to go back to the beef. Got to go back to the brief. Your brief is to create a 3D environment that is alive. Any form of movement, interaction, or physics are allowed. We just want the world to be alive. Historically, game environments are static. We don't want the player to be the source of movement. The world needs to be as dynamic as possible. The environment can be as large as you wish, but the primary area of interaction should be a 50 by 50 meter zone. We're not looking for a game, we want the world for a game to be made in. Therefore, your audience is games devs. We also want you to publish your work online and demonstrate how clever games designers are able to use the tech rather than be guided by the tech. Not going to be able to do that second bit. I'm sorry. Think about the scene, what is in the scene, and how the scene would come to life. The style of the piece is your choice. No characters, none. The environment is enough. Final work is to be of presentable quality. We would like you to study several games to see how they bring their worlds to life, and then do it your way. Almost all AAA and indie games demand dynamic world, irrespective of cost. And in my evaluation down here, I will receive feedback by asking friends and family directly, posting my work on YouTube and ArtStation, and talking about my entire process in a hopefully comedic video. Don't really have time for that, but it is going to be released on this channel. So if you're watching this later and want to have a look back, go ahead, where people can comment on my process and composition. So context. It's the last unit at college year, like level 3, year 1. We've already had a couple months of experience with different techniques. I was all right at 3D modeling. I hadn't really dabbled in animation at all. And I didn't know a all right amount. And I don't know what else there is to say, really. What was the context of the project? I don't really understand that question. What were your initial aims of the project? My initial aim was basically to celebrate the world of Steam, I guess. But in the end, my Steam engine didn't have any steam coming out of it. It was moving at a snail's pace. The animation was a little bit broken if you looked a bit too close. There wasn't any of the like portal ideas that I had. What were your initial ideas? Okay. Initial idea was like initial idea, like before the project even started, was going to be a train that you would be on circling a planet. Like the planet would be rotating beneath you, but it would be posed in such a way that it looked like the train was going around the planet, right? Then that plan changed into having 4 environments, and each environment you could like get on the train, get into a carriage, move along until you get to a portal, which will take you to the next environment, and then you can experience that. And each of these environments are using like mostly duplicatable assets, but would be different in their own way. And I actually did a little bit of experimenting where it was revealed that if you're standing on an object and said object is teleported, you move with the object. So when I was doing the like portal thing, I could have just like done several layers of say 20% opacity black panes and just have it kind of fade in and fade out. So how did your idea come together as a final product? It didn't really. I got the train, I got the animation that I animated in 3ds Max. I tried to emulate Wild Shirt's Valve Gear. It doesn't quite look like it, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, it didn't have any of the space parts of it. It just looks like a really bad village. The trees don't even have leaves. There was at times like plans to have one set of trees with solar panels, another set of trees with leaves, another set of trees with hands, and another set of trees that would just be dead like they are in the final product. How effective was your research? Was it thorough and sustained throughout the projects? Did you look at a range of sources? Was your research relevant? Um, I feel like the research that I did in terms of production were incredibly relevant all the time, and I feel like were important because I didn't know how to do a lot of things in terms of the animation that I used for the train. However, in terms of art style, I feel like I was lacking. I feel like I could have looked at more engines earlier on if I wanted to have a focus on art style. I could have like put an actual lamp on with the light that was on one of the versions in the Unreal earlier. I could have actually done the planet project. I like had a look at a whole bunch of videos like not videos. I watched Treasure Planet. I saw the Dark Bramble and Outer Wilds. I went to the Beyond a Bit VR chat thing, which was about the only thing I actually recorded and documented because it was the only thing that I thought, oh, I've still got time to use this. And then by the time I was actually going to come round to using the inspiration that I had before, I didn't have time. And so all that time I had spent looking at all of these beautiful creative products was entirely wasted because I wasn't able to use it. How did you interpret your research? How did your research inform the development of your project and ideas? Uh, I remember there was a specific video. I can't find it again, but there's a specific creator called Sudrian Rails. I'll see if I can find him. I haven't put him anywhere on my Miro, but I'm going to bring him up now. And his hybrid series. Let's see if it pops up. Yeah, his hybrid series kind of inspired me with the way the running board is, the wheel wells, the like firebox, the cab. You can see the similarities, like even the wide fat funnel, like everything there is very. There's a lot of things you can see there. But again, I didn't put it on my Miro, so it doesn't count, does it? What inspired me really was a lot of different games, and I wanted to focus a lot more on audio than I did in the end. I wanted to, because in Unit 5 we did audio. I know how to get audio into Unreal. I just, again, I ran out of time because I procrastinated earlier on. How did you plan your project? Atrociously. There is not a doubt in my mind. The planning was horrible. I made a plan. I made several, in fact. You can see throughout the world that there's like, oh yeah, the 16th of the 5th, well, all of this needs doing. There's all of the like the tasks from the actual UAL which I put there. In my diary, I've got lists of stuff I need to do. I've got like tutorials that I again didn't end up following because I ran out of time because I procrastinated too much early in the project. I've got this list here. There are lists everywhere. The planning was downright pathetic. It was just a list after list after list after list. How did your planning influence production? It made it so that I felt cramped. I burnt myself out. I I was in an even worse mental state than I already was because of outside like influence. Stuff was happening in my personal life and stuff was happening in my home life, and neither of them were particularly good. And so I just kept feeling worse and worse and worse, and it was horrible. Um how successful was the planning in allowing you to effectively create your product? Again, not good, but that's because I didn't follow any kind of plan. if I followed the plan that I made in the beginning, which I ended up speaking with my dad, and one of the things he suggested was just like 2 hours of work a day. 2 hours of work a day, and then you should get this project done. And I didn't listen. I didn't do 2 hours of work a day. I didn't do work at home like I was supposed to. When I was in college, I sometimes didn't work. And granted, one of those, like twice of those, was because of outside influence. The first one, on March 22nd, I think, I ended up having to break up with my girlfriend at the time, because they ended up lying to one of my other partners in the poly that I'm in, and the shit that they lied about, sorry, excuse my language, just wasn't excusable. Another time, I ended up with straight up food poisoning and was out of commission for like 3 days near the end of the project. Seriously, I was waking up not knowing what direction was up. So yeah, not not great. How well did your plan fit to the deadline? What changes did you have to make to this timescale during production? Again, I didn't follow it, so I can't really answer that question. So let's have a look at the next page. Is that just the same thing? That's just the same thing. That's all we had to do for planning? I recorded an 11-minute video and I answered all the questions. Surely there's more. It's just 2 pages of the same thing? What? Okay. Well then. If I was going to do this again, I would allocate my time better. I would be more strict with myself. I would not set my sights so high. For dynamic environments, what was I thinking? I would like slow it down. I'd focus on making one thing that looks amazing. Like some of my classmates' products have genuinely made me go, "Wow, that looks like it could be an actual game on sale on Steam or something." Like not one of those horrible shovelware, but really good games. And I look at why, and I look at their Myro, and I just see that they were consistent, and I am not. I didn't work for 2 months, basically, other than a little bit of maths in 3ds Max. And then I did all of my work in the last month. It doesn't help that I started out late. I was finishing unit like 5 and 7 and 6. I hadn't finished that yet. I had to do that before I moved on to Unit 8. And I wasn't even the only one. There's another classmate of mine, who I'm not going to name because anonymity, who was in the exact same situation and spun it round, and their product works. I've played it. It's fun. It's there's a lot of I could have done better. I feel like technology also partially failed me with all the weird intricacies in 3ds Max and all of the other stuff, which just why, like OneDrive every now and again not saving stuff despite saying it's synced and it uploaded and everything. Like even within the same classroom, I go to one computer, I upload it, it's just like, oh yeah, upload complete, it's all synced, everything's fine. And then I go to another computer, I open up OneDrive and it's not there, and I look at it, oh yeah, it's 100% synced. I've got to restart my entire computer just to get OneDrive to sync. I go into Unreal Engine. I go into Substance Painter. The version at the college is like lower than the version at home that I've got. And I can't seem to go back a version, so I'm just forced to kind of stick to one. Like there's all sorts of stuff. Oh yeah, if you're curious, emotional support doggos. Whenever I was feeling particularly bad, look at the little happy guy doing his little happy steps. That's a mental health thing which helped me. Is this another list? Yeah, this is another list. Yeah. And you can see it was all done in May. Like the last month. Oh yeah, it was my birthday on the 18th. I celebrated on the 17th with like a proper party. That was nice. But also ended up probably not helping with this project because I didn't work despite my tutor telling me that I should. I'm sure he's probably listening to this and going, "Yeah, I told you and you should have listened, but you didn't." Uh, um so yeah, that's what else is there to say? I scheduled horribly, and that basically made everything fall apart. I didn't do 90% of the things I wanted to do purely because I scheduled horribly. I know the technology. I know how to use it. If I have time, I'm able to create good products. It's just that I didn't give myself time. Um, I yeah. This isn't really the comedic video I wanted it to be. I wanted to go more in depth on like how I made all of this, but this is purely for the invigilator's eyes only. And I literally, as soon as this video is done, I'm just going to like start scripting the video that's more comedic. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna head downstairs. I'm gonna talk to my stepmother. I'm gonna pet my dog. I'm gonna have a drink, like of water, not that. Get your mind out the gutter. And then I'm going to start the script on the funnier video just so even if I don't release it, I'm able to look back on it in future projects and go, yeah, no, that there, don't do that. um, right. Yeah, that I think that's all I need to talk about. I've yammered on about this project for 16 minutes. Uh, cool.